Hi, I'm Malcolm McDonald, ex number 9 for Newcastle United, and you're watching Newcastle Fans TV.
Hi everybody, welcome to the latest podcast. We're finally here, we're finally doing it, and we're actually in sunny, well it's not sunny now, it's quite cloudy, overcast Leeds Park, and we're just behind St James's Park. It's a bit of a YouTube theme today. We've got some YouTubers with us who are all Newcastle YouTubers. We're just going to do some quick intros, and then we're going to start from the Newcastle game where we're 1-2-1 against Wigan all the way down to the end of the season as well, and then we'll have an opinion on everybody as well. So obviously I'm Lee, I'm obviously presenter of Newcastle Fans TV. Everybody knows who I am, so I won't do too much intros. We'll move over.
So me, it's Will, Lee's co-presenter again, Newcastle Fans TV. You see me sporadically, but hopefully a bit more over the summer. Well, Lee's asked me to do much more over the summer. I'll see what time I've got.
Hi, I'm Chalky. My YouTube channel name is called Newcastle United One Club One City. Please subscribe. I do a lot of Newcastle United related content. I also do other football related content, so please check us out. And you'll also find us on Newcastle Fans TV on Fancams.
Hi guys, my name's Alicia. You'll find me on Alicia FC. I do Newcastle United related content as well, and you'll also find us on Fancams.
Fantastic. So we're going to begin with the Wigan game, and Will's going to take over for this one.
Right then, so this one, I think my personal memories of this one was it was a bit nervy, I find. And Wigan, they finished 23rd, didn't they? They were relegated weeks before the season ended. Yeah, I mean it wasn't comfortable, I don't think.
No, I have to agree. Wigan, obviously 23rd in the league at the time, they've got something to play for, at the time they've had a chance of, staying in the Championship. I think Newcastle pretty much underestimated Wigan by the way we played. Tony Wigan will just sit back, but actually Wigan took the game to her. And obviously I remember Newcastle took the lead just before half time, and then obviously Wigan pulled one back in the second half, and you kind of couldn't tell who was going to score, and then up until when Richie scored towards the end with that little bit of quality to make it 2-1. But yeah, it was a nervous game.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I think that was the game where we went through the spell of conceding a lot of goals. It was like the nervousness of it and the fact that the pressure was on us, and then we started to fall behind. But yeah, to score the goal quite shortly after when Wigan scored kind of showed that our attacking was much, much more better than we're defending.
Yeah, guys, it's just echoing what everyone was saying there. I think it was the start where Newcastle's performances weren't really great. It was just more about, everybody was saying, just get the points over the line, because obviously the Premier League was in sight at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And this was the start of when Matt Ritchie was starting to pick up his form and go a bit crazy with all the goals. So at the end of the day, we got 3 points. It wasn't pretty. Yes, Wigan equalised after half time. I think that goal from Matt Ritchie just after 7 minutes later was key. And we literally scraped everybody saying on fan cams, it was a nervous win, a scrappy win, but we got the win. And it was at this point where Brighton were level echoing, Newcastle were jumping first and second. It's still at this point, and the league was all to play for. So we'll move on to Burton, and we've got that referee to talk about. We'll talk about the game as well, but Will, talk to me about that. It's Keith Stroud, please.
Right. I think it's amazing that in the second tier, quite a high level of football, that we have referees that don't actually seem to know the rules. I remember watching penalty given, I think it was contentious if it was a penalty, and then Richie took it, scored, Gale encroached, so you retake the penalty, and it was given a free kick the other way. We were all there bewildered. I think some of the Burton fans were a bit bewildered as well. I just can't. And to think, especially about how close it came to the end.
Wasn't even over 1 after the game.
Yeah, I remember a very sweary fan cam for that one. But also, if you think, if the title really mattered that much, and we would have lost it if it just came down to a refereeing decision.
Which isn't the first time this season either.
I know the Nottingham Forest game immediately springs to mind with that one. I mean, I don't really know what more to say on that.
Do you know what was going on?
As in
why the referee was like going to touchline, and then because of that confusion.
Yeah, there was like that. There was that 5
minutes.
There was a good 5 minutes, and they added only 2 minutes on at the end of that first half. I remember that was another one that we all complained about. I don't know what he was thinking. There were many theories that were popping up all over the place about what he thought had happened. That there was like a foul on the edge of the box about anything, but there was absolutely no reason for him to give the free kick their way. Absolutely not. But I think we're all again worried because we only beat them 1-0 in the end, and it was a great strike from Richie as well. So.
Well, do you know what made me laugh? The fact that it took him 5 minutes to give Burton an indirect goal kick.
I remember you saying on the fan cams, you turn and goes, referee was woeful tonight.
Well, he was shocking. I mean, I don't think he could have managed the occasion. I mean,
no, but that could have cost in the end Newcastle the title.
I mean, I'm not being funny, but at the end of the day, he's a Premier League referee. He's refereed some of the biggest games in the Premier League, and he's got to manage this game. And it's a big game for Newcastle. Burton, bottom of the league pretty much at the time, not bottom end. Newcastle, that's a big game for them. And if it wasn't for Richie's magic at the end, it would have been beyond. Beyond news. But if I'm honest, it took 5 minutes to make a decision, and it was laughable. I mean, at the end of the day, right, the fact he never gave it, a retake was just laughable in itself.
Goes to show you that the referee was then dropped for the rest of the season, and his team were as well, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the other thing you've got to say is how did none of them see it? That's four of them who were beyond.
What made me laugh was Antonio Gomez Perez, our assistant manager, come on at half time with a tablet showing the referee, this is the penalty. You've got to retake it, because if it's a retake, then fine, it goes and scores. So that's what should have happened. Yes, it was encroachment, but that was just a joke from the referee, wasn't it? Sorry, Lascelles, over at you.
There you go.
I think the level of refereeing, that game summed up the level of refereeing throughout the season. People go, the refereeing's bad in the Premier League, but this was awful. And you can really understand why he hasn't been picked to referee in any league for the rest of the season, because that's the laws. It hasn't changed.
How did he get it wrong? What was he thinking? If you were in that situation, what's he thinking there? Had you just totally forgot what the rules were right there and then under the moment?
Probably, if he's seen a foul or encroachment in the box, but at the end of the day, if they score the penalty, it is a retake.
Jacques, you were saying he's been in the Premier League, but do you think the occasion got the better of him?
Probably, because this was when it was when we were close to Brighton, and we really need to push on and get as much points as possible. And if you've got all the players surrounding you and in the heat of the moment, you just know we'll give an indirect free kick.
Well, shall I tell you what was more laughable about this game as well? The fact is, the referee gave a penalty, which, to be honest, was not a penalty. I said it on the fan cams. The original penalty was not a pen, but before that, Gale got fouled. Gale got fouled, and he didn't give the pen. So obviously, when he gave the pen originally, he was like, "Oh, I made a mistake for the Gale one. I'll give it." Newcastle, fair enough. Matt Ritchie stepped up. Made his own business, scored, and then it just, he had an absolute farce of a game, didn't he? Basically,
it was absolutely awful one. I think Rafa said after the game. And I think he's only said it because we won the game. If we didn't win that game, Rafa would have went off it, and there's no shadow of a doubt about it. He's played it very cool, very calm. Didn't talk about the referee, talked more about the performance. And again, Matt Ritchie come up again, another quality goal. This way he cut in from the left and curled it with his so-called weaker foot. Because at this time, this was part of the season where Gouffran's form had dipped. Matt Ritchie had come in, starting playing a lot on the left flank. Him and Atsu, because Atsu started to come into the team the back end of the season, but. He was coming out. I think he'd come on later on in that game, and it was a wonderful goal. But Richie's goal is not really talked about. It's more about the referee.
It was an unreal goal. I mean, it was just a shame that the referee's performance didn't reflect, the goal at the end, because at the end of the day, when we needed that little bit of quality, but Matt Ritchie showed it.
It's actually the first time I've ever seen a referee have to apologise.
Well, what made me laugh, I don't think it was the referee. It was the professional refereeing Mike Riley's team who actually apologised on his behalf, which made me laugh as well.
I know. I just see that. That was probably one of the most relieving wins of this season.
We had to win to keep the pressure on Brighton, because it was literally so close at the top at this point. So, anyways, we won that game, and it's a bit of a shame because Matt Ritchie's goal was shortlisted for goal of the season on Newcastle United's official YouTube channel for that beautiful curler. We're moving on to that defeat. I'm going to let Will take over at Hillsborough.
Well, this one, it was all built up to be. This was a very big game. Sheffield Wednesday.
Sky Sports one
away. Sky Sports late kickoff. I know, Sharky, you were there. I remember watching it and just. From literally minute get-go, immediately on the back foot. And I think and I'm sort of seeing that game, in a way I'm now relieved Sheffield Wednesday aren't going to be a Premier League team, because we did not do well against them in either game. I mean, you were actually there. What was your opinion on it?
Well, I have to agree. I mean, from the minute one, Newcastle on the back foot. I think they were just going for a point, really.
Bemba come in, didn't it?
Yeah, he did. He looked a bit rocky when you look back at that game. You know, Sheffield at the time as well, I think they were something like 6th or 7th, you know, they were battling Fulham, you know, for the last playoff spot. So there was so much riding on this game. Obviously Newcastle battling with Brighton at the top. And no, I have to agree, Will. Newcastle on the back foot from minute one. You know, Sheffield deserved, you know, the deserved winners at the end. You know, Newcastle probably didn't turn up till the last 10 minutes when we pulled one back.
The one-man show for John Joe Shelby that game.
Oh, it was an unbelievable finish. Like, when it was that little bit of quality that we've got, and you look at the games prior to this.
What does he score from the halfway line?
That was quality when he skinned his man, then he hits with his shot inside his own half, cannons off the woodwork. That was what disappointed me was it was just Shelby against Sheffield Wednesday. The team was just nothing, which disappointed me.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was a good atmosphere as well. I mean, obviously me being within the crowd when we scored, the whole it erupted. Like, you know, everybody was just like jumping all over each other. They were just like celebrating, like, oh yeah, lads, we're going to get this. They're going to get this second. You know, we're going to go on and win the game. But obviously it wasn't to be. And you look on the whole complexion of this game, Sheffield, you know, the Forestry area, all these players, you know, they were better than us.
At this point, this is where Jamal Lascelles was getting massive criticism. We know why, which we'll touch on. But it was a bit of a strange one in Bemba and Lascelles, wasn't it?
Yeah, like we didn't know who was going to be playing where, and
because this is where the point where Kieran Clark had gone out for the rest of the season, and the defence was getting criticised, and Sheffield Wednesday were all over, weren't they?
Yeah, you have to agree. I mean, Sheffield, you know, like I say, they were battling, you know, to get in the playoff spot, and you know they were good. I mean, they were full value for that win, and you know, Newcastle kind of just had to draw a line under that one and just push on. You know, the next game.
Just a quick question, because I wasn't there on the Boxing Day game at home. What was the better team to play us, Fulham or Sheffield Wednesday?
Fulham for me.
Well, I wasn't at this game, but Eddie, you want to expand?
The home game. The home game is Fulham's. Fulham's the best side to come to St James's for me.
I would say Fulham. Alicia?
Yeah, I would say Fulham. Just, you know, if you look at the youth throughout the team, you know, Sessegnon scoring goals like against us in the Championship. I mean, he's going to go on and be a great player, but you can see, unfortunately, they missed out this year. But I think in a few years we'll probably see them in the Premier League, because I do think they've got a lot of quality to come in the next few years.
What are your thoughts on the Sheffield Wednesday one?
I think this one kind of worried people because it was getting into the running now and it was so close, and that game was a game we shouldn't have lost.
We lost Dwight Gale.
Yeah.
And that half, didn't we?
Yeah, I think that really kind of put us on the back foot as well, because although we're starting off on the back foot, losing your top goal scorer as well, that's not the best thing that you want to see. And obviously away as well, we had quite good away form, so I think everybody was expecting us to win, but obviously we didn't. And could you have said that affected the next few matches, because we didn't win after that? But at least
went on a bad run after that, didn't we? Because then we picked up a point in the next two, didn't we?
Can I just finish a second?
Yeah,
I'm just going to expand like who I thought my favourite team was that came to St James, part of the best team, and obviously it has to be Fulham.
I think for me, Fulham, but the best fans was Sheffield Wednesday without a shadow of a doubt. I've said that for 2 years, and everybody says I'm a suck up to the Owls, but their fans are.
I like Sheffield, but I think Leeds is also up there as well. Leeds have got some fans.
Cousin's a Sheffield Wednesday fan, is he?
I mean, Leeds is up there as well. You know, they've got some quality fans on a Friday night as well. You know, and yeah, like I say, you know, that young lad. You know, Fulham have got some great talent in their team. You know, and if they can keep gelling the players and keep developing, I think Fulham can go places even next season.
Fantastic. Yeah, I just want to touch on the Dwight Gale injury, because it's the second injury he's had this season, and then Rafa was playing Murphy, was playing Mitrovic, and Newcastle's form dipped, which is a bit shame. We definitely missed Gale's goals. I know he got 23-24 at the very end of the season, but we definitely missed his goals. And when he went down injured, our creativity was just the John Joe Shelby show, which really disappointed me. He was just taking the game by the scruff of the neck, and it was disappointing just to see him just do it. Nobody else was contributing. It was a poor performance, and it was a fearing because Sheffield Wednesday are up there in the playoffs. But what we're going to do now is come off the games. We've got a couple of subjects to talk about off the field activities, so to speak. And the first EFL, the first team of the year was published by the EFL. A lot of criticism going around saying it's a bit too early to produce the team of the year. And in this team, we only had Dwight Gale, and a lot of people got upset about Matt Ritchie in particular not being in this team, and John Joe Shelby. Thoughts on that, Will?
Didn't Matt Ritchie win our Player of the Season? He was
don't know.
definitely in our fan cams. I think people said Ritchie definitely a lot more
He's
than Gale.
ours, yeah.
And I think if you think, you know,
In our awards video, he did.
yeah, if you think like not even Gale's our best player, and he was the only one in the team of the season, I think even Newcastle, didn't they put out that tweet with Kieran Clark with a shock expression?
That's another one. Kieran Clark.
Yeah, I think it's weird. I think it's strange that the
Who's better for you, Aaron Moy or John Joe Shelby?
John Shelby.
Because he's got experience playing for the likes of Blackpool and other teams in the Football League. He's got that experience, and he's played for Liverpool, and he's had some Premier League experience with Swansea, so I kind of put him up there.
I was surprised at the Kieran Clark one. Looking at the other two centre-backs, it was Pontus Janssen, and it was...
Well, if you think how far it's... Well, I think this is one thing about it being published so early, because I think now, I don't think Janssen would get into a lot of teams, considering how Leeds sort of just incredibly dropped.
They dipped at the wrong time, didn't they?
Yeah, dropped towards the end and fell out of the playoffs. You know, we actually won the Bleeding Championship. We've only got one player. How many did Brighton have in there? Did they have Murray?
They had Knockout as well.
Murray Stockdale, the goalkeeper, which I don't rate. They had Dunk, I think, Lewis Dunk.
Yeah, Lewis Dunk, yes.
David Stockdale won Newcastle the championship.
Yeah, he had an awful...
2 own goals, and then the one against Villa.
His interview saying we're not going to bottle it. That's a bit ironic, isn't it?
They just did.
Ironic.
Yeah, we'll talk about Brighton later on in the podcast.
Yeah, I think we'll just pass this one round.
Yeah, why just Dwight Gale in that team then?
Well, that's the EFL for you, innit? They have absolutely no idea. And I mean, I was one of those as well. Like, why so early? Because we've still, at the time, we still had how many games? 5 or 6 or something left.
Yeah,
I mean, why don't you just do it at the end? So then we'll have a clear idea of like where everyone's finished in the table, how many goals each individual player scored, not just for Newcastle but other clubs. And obviously, yeah, like you say, it had a lot of criticism, and I think Matt Ritchie. I mean, I was on the fence of it. I mean, I'd done a video on that, and I think I had him on my bench. Because obviously with the formation I was playing.
Ritchie's form at the back end of the season helped him to make fans think he's our player of the season.
Kind
He
of.
had a storming end.
He did.
And if he didn't, he wouldn't have won that, I don't feel.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just the all-round good performances towards the
I
other
like
side.
how Ritchie just sort of like he just literally sprints. Like he always works hard. I mean, I was talking to Alicia about this.
Fuse, he?
Yeah. I was talking to Alicia about this. It's just about players who try. Ritchie tries every single time. And when he scores, I've never seen someone kick a corner flag so hard.
Dwight fans want you if you try hardest. The fans will want you, doesn't it? You don't have the best ability. So
Yeah, like he's not exactly the quickest player, but he's got that he's got a smidgen of quality, which we haven't always got around the
Is he
team.
better than Townsend?
Yes,
yes,
in my
Really?
opinion,
You'd say
yeah.
I'll take
yeah.
Ritchie over Townsend on the right flank.
Do you want to say anything, Alicia?
Or both?
Yeah, I think it was again way too early to release that. But that just sums up the championship again, really. But
Who would you like to see in from the tune in that side?
I'd probably have to say Ritchie.
Ritchie, Kieran Clark? Are you hit and miss on that?
He had a few moments in the season where it's kind of like,
I think he's been unreal actually. He was relegated with Aston Villa alongside us. I mean, everyone was saying bad things about, oh, he's from Aston Villa, he's not that good. But to be honest with you, I thought he was brilliant towards the end of the season. I mean, you look at it now, he could potentially be in the starting 11 in the Premier League.
Yeah, I guess so.
Do you know what I mean?
Everybody was a bit
there's
like,
no
why has this
argument.
happened? Everyone was like, why has this happened when Kieran Clark
Well, I remember Kieran Clark's debut. He sliced one of the Reading players in half and gave away a penalty. And
I remember.
Oh,
But he's slowly learning though, isn't he? He's slowly learning.
We talked after we were like, oh god.
Here he comes again. 'Cause we won that one 4-1, didn't we? And that was just
But he got better as the season went on. Like, he's learned so much from
Bemba couldn't get in the side because of him.
That's
Bemba,
right.
In my opinion, Bemba's our best defender, and he couldn't get in the side. We'll come off that subject. We'll all agree that more Newcastle players should have got on that side.
No bias to you.
No bias to you. Will, do you know much about the salaries, or do you want me to talk about this?
You go for that one.
Right, I'll cover this one. So, just shortly after that, I think it was the next day or two, it was there were. What was it? The money was released. I'm trying to word this to be.
Money was released.
Not money was released. No, we'll touch about the HMRC coming up shortly. The business reports every year, the profits and so on. That Newcastle annual reports released every year, and it was revealed. I don't think there's many surprises. I think the Charney one will come up here. That Steve McLaren was on about 19,000 per week at the club. Lee Charney was only on $3,000, which massively surprised me, mind. And Bob Moncur and Graham Carr won approximately about 1,500 each. Does any of that surprise you for you lot?
Well, I'd love to know how much Rafa's on. But,
He's on quite a bit.
I reckon so. I mean, I mean,
Me,
Carr and
the Charney one, £3,000. I thought he was on a lot more than that, mind you.
I thought he was like a millionaire in a week, to be honest.
This is not bonuses, by the way, so it's just your basic
For
salary.
Rafa, I would pay him a lot of money for just getting Rafa for Lee Charney. But I think, well, I mean, that's still a lot. It's not like, you know, they're on benefits. I mean, it's I mean, for Graham Carr, I mean, it's not bad, is it? To be
Charlie might be soon, though. Could be.
Could very well be, but yeah, I mean, I'm surprised McLaren's is so high in comparison.
I thought I was about right, mate, about 20
Yeah,
grand.
I would think so. I think when I would think about how much managers are on, well, was McLaren manager?
Who even considers paying Steve McLaren these days?
Derby,
Not
twice.
Derby. Don't think we'll come round third time Derby.
I don't think anyone's going to come round.
Any surprises for you, Sharky, on the salaries when they come out? Pretty straightforward.
No, not really. Just
It's Graham Carr still at the club.
Yeah.
What does he do? Does he just make the tea?
I think he's Rafa's bitch, to be fair.
honestly, do you know what it is? Like, I'm more just concerned about, like, you know, scoring the goals and then just getting the results than what they're getting paid and stuff, because they don't care. They don't.
It's nice to know, you know.
Oh,
see what
it's
these
nice
guys
to know,
are
but they don't care about us. So, like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like all they care about is that we just pay my money, go to watch the games. And
Nisha? Surprises for you? Hand that over. I'll pass it over.
I was quite surprised with Steve McLaren's, to be honest.
Did you get that high?
Yeah, genuinely, because if you look before,
Because he was on the board as well, and he was on a 5-year contract as well, wasn't
yeah, if you consider the contract, that's probably why. But
that Charlie one, is that after tax?
he? I'm not sure.
you look back,
That's a clever question. People who don't get that. We'll come on that.
We'll come on that later.
But that McLaren one does surprise us for just the reputation that he had beforehand.
How much do you think he would have been? How much do you think McLaren's worth
nothing
a week? Realistically, in a modern manager, like 10 grand
Yes,
a week?
between 10 to 15.
750 now.
League Two.
750 now.
I think we'll move on quickly with that one then. Will, I'm going to hand over to you with the Leeds game, with 1-1.
This is one of my favourite games and also one of my most frustrating games at exactly the same time, because atmosphere-wise, I loved this one. However, somehow, I really don't know how we didn't win this game, to be honest, because we had chance after chance after chance after chance. I think we hit the woodwork.
I think it was nice to see Newcastle have chance after chance after chance.
It's also, actually, this is one point, because we talked about this with the Wigan and the Burton one, especially with the fan cams afterwards, how performances weren't good, but we were getting results, but at least we played really well and only drew. We drew, what was it, 95th minute?
Yeah.
If we had Gale, do you think we would have won it? Sharky.
Yeah, I think if we had Dwight Gale, we probably would have beaten Leeds by like 2 or 3 goals. And to be honest, with both keepers had very good games. You know, Carl Dollar was pulling off really good saves. Rob Green was pulling off really good saves, and I would say the first half was very tight up until when we had to score by goal. But that's just typical Newcastle. You know, when we go 1-0 up, we kind of like sit back, and it was just a lapse of concentration towards the end. You know, the centre back and the keeper again. You know, who's mocking Chris Wood.
I think the atmosphere helped because it was played on Good Friday. Leeds sold out, fair play at them, well done. And it was a good atmosphere, Friday night game under the lights, everybody up for it. The atmosphere was the best I've seen in a good probably 5 to 10 games. Maybe the Aston Villa one beforehand when the Henry Lansbury won. It was good atmosphere, but sorry, Shark, carry on.
No, I was just saying, I have to agree. I mean, it was one of the best games obviously I've watched Newcastle tackling wise, and it was just a shame that we couldn't stay concentrated for at least a good the last minute of the game. Really, we would have got 3 points, and it was just a soccer punch, really, wasn't it?
Whose fault is it?
It was Lascelles.
Lascelles, I would say, looking back.
Or the strikers not scoring enough?
The strikers not, well, bit of both really. The strikers not finishing the chances because they had some gilt edge opportunities really, and Rob Green was there to save Leeds, and like I say, the bottom line is they've walked away with a point, haven't they?
We didn't take our chances, but Rob Green had an absolute wonder game.
He nearly kept out Lascelles' head as well, didn't he?
He did as well. I didn't actually realise it crossed the line until.
Yeah, I had a good eye on that. Lisha?
I think this one showed that without having Dwight Gale, yes, we're saying we created chances, but we had nobody for the end
Who
product.
started that game? Was Mitrovic, wasn't it?
I think it was Mitrovic, yeah. Which goes on to another thing, which we'll talk about later, but do we keep him? Is he Premier League
For me,
quality.
if you ask me that question now, if someone comes in for 15 million, I'd sell him.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be too disappointed if he stays as well, because Premier League's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
I think what you also have to consider is, Gale and Mitrovic, they're very, very, very different strikers, and Mitrovic actually did well in the Premier League. I thought for
How
how
I'm calling for you. There's a bird going wah wah above us.
you calling my mum a bird.
Oh, she might be a nice bird. I haven't seen her yet.
I'm saying nothing on that one, like, saying nothing.
She was going to listen to this as well.
Oh, hiya, mum. Give us a call.
What was I talking about? Mitrovic.
Yeah.
Is he good enough, basically?
Right. Okay. He scored? What was it? 10 goals in the Premier League.
9. Scored 9. And I think he only scored 6 in the Championship.
He didn't score at home actually, apart from that Preston game.
Oh, he loves
cup.
Preston. He loves Preston.
He loves Preston. But what's my point? It's like Gale, very quick, really good finisher. Mitrovic bullies people, holds the ball up really well, will win your headers. It's something very different, and it's like Murphy. Was he 34 now? I mean,
Who would have Mitrovic and Murphy in the Premier League?
Mitrovic.
Ooh.
I'm going to be harsh. You know what? He's had his chance. I don't know if in the Premier he wasn't good enough under McLaren. I don't know where's the formation that we played, but he had a chance to shine in the Championship. I know it's a slow league and that, but for me, he didn't do enough. I mean, I love his passion. You know, he's saying all the right things, but when you're on that pitch, actions speak louder than words. And for me, he didn't do the business on the pitch when we need him. Yes, he loves the club and that, but you didn't see Alan Shearer saying, "Oh, I love the club and that," not score goals. Alan Shearer was banging them in for fun, because he loved the club and he understood. And for me, like you said, 15 million, I would happily take that.
What I would say is, I would happily sell him if you could get me someone like, say, we'll get you this guy who's a similar mould, and then I'll happily sell Mitrovic.
Yeah, like I said, that's just my opinions on Mitrovic.
Completely went left field there, Lisha. The game, Leeds.
Well, we started and throughout the game. I thought we'd probably go on to win, to be honest, because we were creating chances, and it wasn't until the later end of the second half, when, as you can see, they scored in like the 95th minute, that they started creating chances, and I think that was when my concentration lapsed, and unfortunately we made that defensive error, but we're still at that point weren't scoring enough goals, which we'd need to sort out what strikers we're going to have next season, because is Dwight Gale going to recover from these injuries, or is it going to be a continuous thing?
Perfect, yeah. Good point. Yeah, just speaking on the goals, we only scored 5 in the last 4 up to this point, so it's a good shout. But Lascelles turned from hero to villain, because that defend was absolutely shocking. It was, to be fair. Yes, we know why now, that which his injuries will come on to shortly. But that was dreadful. That was awful defending. That was schoolboy. I can defend better than that. Right, we'll come off that. We're going to talk about the bank holiday, which, Sharky, you were at this game, weren't you? Which we'll come on to in a second. We'll come round to you. A 3-1 defeat, an absolutely awful display. Where we played well against Leeds, and then we'll go down to Ipswich and we got outplayed. We got outmustered. Richie was actually awful. He gave the ball away, didn't he, first goal, and Murphy scored against his old side. And apart from that, it was just an awful afternoon. Newcastle's defending, marking was just all over the place. Will, what do you make of that?
With the games of the season where we've been beaten, this was probably the most disappointing, because I think this is probably the worst team that we were. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. But this is, if you think about the Blackburn games, we actually had a mammoth of chances to score against them. This one, we were just beaten in every single department, all over the place. And
again, it's the communication again, because the Leeds goal following on to the Ipswich, there was no organisation from Dummett, from Lascelles. Richie had an off day in the cause effect.
I think it epitomises the fact that Murphy, the former Ipswich player, was the one that scored. I mean, it was just a complete off day.
Atsu's
from what I saw.
Starting to kick in, because he got the assist, didn't he, from the left flank?
He did. I mean,
tapping one of Bisley.
I just don't really want to talk about this one.
Well, you were there.
Well, like I say, I travelled. atmosphere was very good yet again. Full house. It was just a shame that the performance didn't reflect the the crowd and how passionate we were in the game, and there was just no passion on the pitch really. The fact that we didn't show up and we made Ipswich look world class was just shocking. I mean, Ipswich for me are like one of the worst teams I've seen in the Championship this season. I'm sorry if any Ipswich fans listening, but some of your football is very boring, and fair enough. You deserved your win. I'm not taking anything away from the result, but we should have done a lot better in that game. We just didn't get started, and I just remember going home thinking, what if? And obviously at that time when we'd obviously lost that game, Brighton obviously were confirmed as promoted back to the Premier League, not quite winning, not quite winning the league, but obviously it was just a sorry night.
On their fan cams after the Leeds game, everybody said, bar Lawrence said it's not over yet, but everyone else did, and you said there's still time. Were you still hopeful after that game?
Hopeful, but then obviously when Brighton are winning and we're losing, you think, well, there's only one outcome. You think Brighton are obviously going to win the championship, and you think maybe if Huddersfield win a few games, if we keep going on the way we're going on, obviously there may be a battle for second place between Newcastle and Huddersfield, and it looked that way because Huddersfield were getting some points, and they were slowly clawing back, but obviously. But like I say, it was an off day for everybody. Richie had an off day, everybody had an off day. But if there's one player obviously that takes a lot of credit from the game, obviously the ex-Ipswich player Murphy, from that game. And I think it was an honest, good result for Ipswich, but it just wasn't to be.
We tried very hard not to win the championship.
Yeah. Just before you go on the game, Alicia, Mitrovic was dropped for Murphy.
Yeah. I probably agree with that one. I would genuinely pick Murphy over Mitrovic because I thought he would flourish under this league. The Championship is a much more physical league. He can bully players in this league, which you probably wouldn't get away with in the Premier League. But the Championship referees were a bit biased towards us. But I thought this league he would have flourished, and his performances weren't good enough, which I agree that Murphy should have been put in. But I think the defensive mistake against Leeds might have put one on the back foot for that, again, the nervousness, the pressure on us because Brighton were winning. Brighton after that got promoted, and I think it all kind of got to them after that, and they were a bit scared to put a tackle in and put a foot in case something happened again, which would lead to a goal, which I ended up doing anyway.
Chapman, I called Alicia.
I love it.
The breeze has come. I'm actually loving it, mate. But actually, if you didn't know, we've lived under a rock. It's been really nice in Newcastle the last 3 days. Will, I'm going to come over to the PFA Team of the Year. This is where the actual footballers vote for the footballers.
So, unlike the EFL Team of the Year, there were 3 Newcastle players in here. Still no Richie, still no Kieran Clark. It was Gale, Jondra Shelvey and Jamal Lascelles. Of these 3, I think, well, especially by the fact that I think in 2 of these games we've already told about Lascelles' horrific defending. I was quite surprised that he was in this one.
Well, Sharky's passed it straight to me.
Do you not want to talk about?
Do you not want to talk about this one? Well,
put the shades on as well.
He's put the shades on. The sun's out, but it's breezy, so it's like, do you put your coat on? Do you not? For me, Lascelles was the surprise one. For me, yes, he had a great up until December, and then his form dropped massively. Obviously, we know why. Again, I'll touch on that.
That's the 3rd time we've said we know why. We may as well talk about it.
We will come to it. We will talk about Lascelles' injury. It's coming. It is coming, people. Shelby and Gale, fantastic to see them again. No Richie. I can remember 40, friend of the channel, was going mad on Twitter and mad on his videos. Why not Richie? And all of this sort of stuff. Hello, 40, if you're listening. And Shelby, yeah, fine. Again, no Kieran Clark, which again surprises me. So, but this is voted by the footballers, and I think these votes come in stupid like late January, which is just madness. Why vote for your Team of the Year halfway through the season, Alicia?
I was surprised that Lascelles got in. If you're going to pick a centre-back from Newcastle, I would probably pick Kieran Clark to be in the the Team of the Year, especially after the dip in form. But Shelvey and Gale, I think they should be. I agree that should.
Tell them why you're giggling now.
I don't know.
There's a guy for Deliveroo on a bike.
There's a Deliveroo.
I missed that.
Doing a 360. No, did you have to do a 360? I didn't see it. Right, try to. Try what failed.
Anyway, I still Richie should have been in because up to that point he had a great season. So I still don't understand why he wasn't in there.
Okay, we'll come over to just touching on Huddersfield, because this is the point where Huddersfield were literally balls in the league up for themselves, and they were just literally, go on Newcastle, it's there for you. After a good couple of weeks, and Newcastle weren't taking advantage of it, because Huddersfield's form had dropped massively, and over the weekend, I believe Reading and Huddersfield results didn't go their way, and coming up to the Monday night game, live on Sky, full house. Oh, what an atmosphere this was. We won 4-1. I'm going to touch upon it first, then I'll move the mic round, of course. I have to say, Jose Perez, one of his best games. Got a double in this game, one of his best games so far this season. Bit of a scare when they equalised, mind, when it went to 1-1, but Perez 2-1. Atsu again, this is where he started, like 5 out of the last 6 games. His form was coming to shine. Richie, again, scoring a penalty. I don't remember much about the game. I remember doing the fan cams with you, Will. I can't remember much about the game. I just remember everybody singing and Rafa going round the ground. Rafa Benitez. Everyone's singing and all. Everyone's in party mood. It was just. I said after that fan cams, this is why you're a football fan. This is why you come to games, for the atmosphere like that. Talk to the listeners about Preston game. What was that like for you?
I remember the build up to this. We were all just sort of saying, because I think Huddersfield lost 4-1 to Fulham, I think, and that meant that we just had to win it. And we were all just saying, like, if we can't beat Preston, we don't deserve to go.
Pointed on it for us as well, didn't they?
Yeah, and we were all just saying, look, if we can't beat Preston at home, after we beat them 6-0 as well already. And I remember 1-0. I was thinking, yeah, okay, fine, happy days, 1-1. Okay, here we go. But he shot himself. What was it? Then we scored before half time, Atsu. Then the penalty with Richie. The guy, actually, didn't they make a really good save? But it was Paul Gallagher, yes, and he got sent off.
Yeah,
It was a fantastic save, to be fair to him. Yeah, what was it?
And then was that worry again? Oh no, just make sure there's no retake.
Actually, I was worried about the penalty. But yeah, after that it was pretty much cruising. There was a bit of a party atmosphere towards the end, I think.
Yeah, I mean, going into this game, I was talking about it, and I think it was. I was more confident going into this game. I mean, I know it's Preston. I mean, we're beating them already in the EFL Cup at home, and obviously we had a tough game away from home, beating them. It was a 2-1. So
yeah.
Obviously, Huddersfield done with favour, Reading done with favour. So obviously we've just got to do our bit and just beat Preston, a team who are like mid-table, what 10th, something like that in the table. Lee's just put his glasses on there, sunglasses, looking cool. But no, honestly, Newcastle done what they had to do. If they win the game, they're promoted, and at the end of the day, you can't go wrong. And Rafa Benitez
in front of you.
Well, that's it exactly. And Newcastle did just that. 4-1, and I think they could have won by more, really, if I'm honest. Put the pressure on Preston, and I just think, like I say, it was a fully deserved 3 points. It was a fantastic night to be a Newcastle United fan. The fans were unbelievable. Shouting Rafa Benitez's name. Rafa was clapping the fans. Walking towards the Gallagher where I was sitting, and it was just a good all-round night. Alicia?
Yeah, I think. Again, due to the results going the other way, like towards us, and that I always talk about the pressure being on us. That took the pressure off us, and I think we play a lot better when the pressure's not on us rather than when it is. But I think the incentive of we get the 3 points, that's it, we're promoted, and I think it was just a brilliant all-round performance. I can't remember much about the game itself, but the thing that stands out from that was the atmosphere afterwards, and throughout the game it was just incredible, and that's why you go.
Were you at fan cams, that one?
Yeah.
Was that the one that was taking the mickey out of you?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember, because everyone's in good spirits. I mean, that you're just talking about the atmosphere there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's singing. I mean, you were singing.
We're singing and all, and I was taking the mickey out with you and everything. So yeah, I'm exactly the same. I can't remember much about the game myself. Right, the taxman, Will, over at you.
So,
literally a day or day or two after.
Yeah, HMRC, Reading, Newcastle, also, what was it, West Ham and Chelsea. Yes, and it was all in relation to some transfers that were made with a lot of French players, Remy Cabella, Florian Thauvin, I think.
Marveau was arrested.
Marveau as well. Sorry, I don't think Cabella and Thauvin were arrested, but I think it was in relation to that. Yeah, I think it answers a lot of questions why we kept going to the French leagues. And I think when this came up, I was my first concern was, does this mean points deductions?
Everybody was worried, weren't they?
Yeah.
We were getting
Just saw
inboxes
it.
on Twitter and YouTube comments. What's going to happen? We're going to get 3 points. And I knew, no, we're not going to get this point deduction. It's
No,
not,
I don't
it's not
think.
as serious as
I
that.
didn't think so. But I saw Lee Channing was rested, and I was just going, yeah, something's not, something isn't right.
Yeah, I'll just expand on that. Obviously, there's only so much I can say because it's still ongoing at the moment. Obviously, there's more to come out of this story.
You don't want to get yourself in trouble, there, Sharky.
Well, that's it. You know, exactly. You know, I can
All
only say.
this is allegedly.
But obviously, you know, the likes of West Ham, you know, their club was raided, and obviously, was the talks of Chelsea as well, and other clubs like the Marseille and that.
People like Payet and Batshuayi and just all the transfer dealings that have been going around.
Batshuayi.
Batshuayi. But yeah, like I say, it's ongoing at the moment. But you know, the football media, when Newcastle have a bit of success, you know, they'll put them down, don't they? That's what they do. You know, they'll find ways of trying to put Newcastle down when the fans are they're excited and
It would
that.
have been typical Newcastle if we got promoted and then we were given a points deduction to make sure we weren't. But
Yeah, like I say, yeah, there was a lot of talk of points deductions, but there's more to come out of it before you can judge. You know what I mean? You can only say so much, and they can only do so much until you get all the facts are evident. Pretty sure.
I think this sums up Newcastle United really. We have good moments, and then there's just that one thing that just comes crashing down, and just like, yeah, you're not going to have a week of relaxing because we've been promoted.
I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah, but it just shows that we need to be more careful with the transfers now, and we
Do
need.
you think there's something
stop
fishy?
buying French players. For God's sake.
Do you think it's something fishy on Marseille's end rather than English clubs?
Well, if you look at
That
the
it's,
alleged,
All three
ev-
players from Marseille.
yeah,
yeah.
that's the one thing that's linking them all together. So it's probably going to be that.
Graham can't go elsewhere. There's other markets.
Yeah, so as long as we don't buy players from Marseille, we should be fine now.
Thank you very much.
I
Right.
really wanted Payet.
Yeah. Well, we done the video on it, and it was. I had to just make sure that the facts were correct before putting the video out. Otherwise, I didn't want myself into trouble. But that's ongoing at the moment, as Sharky said. So we're just got to be careful what we say. And my honest opinion, I don't think there'll be much that'll happen with Charney because he was released there and then he got arrested and then he was released. So I don't think it's as serious what it is. I think it's just something suspicious with what was it, 5 million, up to 5 million that was tax fraud missing somewhere for bonuses.
I don't know.
It's probably been put in a Monaco bank
In
or
all
something.
fairness, I don't actually know too much about it because so little was sort of.
Yeah,
it
came out so quick as well, wasn't it?
It's all sort of speculated, I think, at the minute. So we'll
Right.
just wait and see. I don't think it'll affect us too much.
Okay, right, we'll move on. So it was a small chance that we might catch Brighton because we won that Monday night, and I think Brighton slipped up. Did Brighton slip up on that weekend when we
Yesterday
won?
against Cardiff City.
Yeah,
2-0.
because we had that.
They played Norwich.
Oh yeah.
Now I was doing some videos for the week saying if Newcastle were to win on Friday night, we go right up behind Brighton, and that puts the pressure on Brighton.
Bristol City, I remember.
And I remember keep thinking if we
They
win,
lost 1-0. I hope.
as the lads chat amongst themselves. So I was kept saying if we win, yes, we've got a game in hand, but we're literally right behind Brighton as the wind goes past. Will's a bit cold. Again, if we won, we'll close the gap, and we did. We won 2-0 down to Cardiff. Atmosphere again, away fans down there. I just want to touch on Christian Atsu's free kick. Come on, oh man, casual as you like, just 2 steps and just walks up and clips it in the corner. What a free kick! What cockiness and what cleverness, and I love it. Me applauded it, and then
And you said we didn't mind if we didn't buy him.
I'm undecided still. I know we've signed that, so we'll come
Yeah,
on now,
I'm the same.
but I'm still don't know. And then 10 minutes later, the game was sealed with Hayden.
What a goal that was as well.
It was a great little left foot outside the box, yeah. And there's a couple of chances that Cardiff have, but again, I think Newcastle was a professional performance. We got the 2-0 win, and it was nice that now we'll put the pressure onto Brighton. Well,
6,000 fans as well, man.
Toe to toe, Warnock and Benitez.
they don't like each other
I know. I don't really understand why.
since the Liverpool days, Sheffield United.
What, did Rafa beat him? What was that?
I think it's because Rafa played a weakened side, and Sheffield United were up
Oh,
for
right.
relegation, fighting relegation.
Well, actually, that was something I was going to talk about with this one. The thing that was encouraged throughout this whole season, one thing we've always been talking about is our Premier League players. So this sort of like Yedlin, Lascelles, Leeds just doing some stretching. Where was it? Shelby, Gale. It's like if you take all these people out of the team, then we wouldn't be as good. And we did take all these people out of the team, and I felt we absolutely bossed the game, and I really, really enjoyed watching it. we played without pressure,
That's
and
a
it
good
was
point, yeah, because it was a lot of players missing, weren't there?
yeah. Shelby was on the bench, I remember. Perez was starting on the wing. I think Murphy was up front as well. I think it was a really good performance and really encouraging to see. I think
Callback and Hayden in the middle as well.
Yeah, Colback did well. This is one of the
Colback
few
actually had a
games
good game.
where he actually did really, really well. Hayden, brilliant goal. Really, really, really good goal. Yeah, I think it was just a very good performance. They kept the pressure on Brighton. I mean, all of us said, I think we all said after Leeds that the league was gone. I think we can go back and check that.
Yeah, there was.
The league was gone. Definitely after Ipswich, I was thinking the league was gone. But yeah, good game to watch, I felt.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for Cardiff, they were pretty much safe, weren't they? I mean, there was a nothing game for them now. It was just no one really turned up for Cardiff. Obviously, Newcastle fans. I mean, what was it, 6,500 went?
Mad, wasn't it? But
God give them credit.
Because the club thought that we would go on and win the league there and then, because they requested it about a good month ago. We've got kids around on bikes and stuff. No, we don't hang out in parks on a regular basis.
Cut that out.
Sorry, Sharky, go on.
No, I was just saying, Newcastle doing what they had to do. You know, if they want to catch Brighton, they have to win the game. And yeah, it was a great performance. You know, we could have scored more than the two, but like I say, not being greedy, 2-0, brilliant. Alicia?
I think this showed the mentality after getting promoted, which Rafa's instilled in the players, because, as you said, we had a lot of players missing and we still performed well. They've gone out with the right mentality to go on and win it. Yes, we say it was a no game for Cardiff, they weren't going anywhere. But if you say that, when we played Ipswich and lost, it was really a no game for them.
Quick question then. We got the win, but then Brighton slipped up on that weekend, didn't they?
Yeah, I think that was very important, because that then transferred the pressure back onto them.
Was it a point then, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was down to a point, and that was really when we kind of realised, like, wait, we can still do this and we'll still go on and win the league, which we ended up doing.
Fantastic. Will, do you want to cover the Sherwood and Bellamy blast Newcastle fans, or do you want me to?
I think you'll be more passionate.
Right, okay, yeah, I'll cover this one. I've done the video on it, and it's got quite a good reviews, numbers of people watching it on YouTube. But basically what happened is on BN Sports, they were actually covering the game in Cardiff, and the news didn't really come out until about 24 hours, 48 hours later. And Tim Sherwood and Craig Bellamy, basically Tim Sherwood turned around and said about Newcastle fans that we only complain, we only put the banners up when we're losing, which I have to say, Tim Sherwood, you know, fuck all. I'm not very happy with what he said, because last season the banners didn't come out because Ashley did actually put the money in there. What we're concerned about last season is the banners were out to get McLaren out, because the football was absolutely dire and people were getting upset. It wasn't about Mike Ashley. He put 80 million into the club, had no problems with him last season. The other one was Craig Bellamy, who's turned around and said that Newcastle fans think that they should win the league or be in the Champions League as well. For me, it's not about that at all. I think realistically, top 15, I'd be more than happy with it. That's my expectations for next season. Yes, you want to be top 10 and so on. Newcastle's a big club and it should be there, but just thoughts on that, lads and lasses. Sorry, Alicia, I nearly forgot. First of all, Tim Sherwood will only put the banners out against Mike Ashley when we lose, and Bellamy thinks that we won Champions League football. Will?
Yeah, I disagree with what Bellamy said. I mean, I've talked to many Newcastle fans. I have not heard a single one say that we should have ever been in the Champions League, or that next season we expect to be in the Champions League, and when we're not in the Champions League, we want everybody to go. We want all this. I mean, the seasons that I've seen, they've been just sort of sunk in, where players weren't trying, the board weren't trying, we weren't buying players, we were just saying what we've got's fine, making bad decisions. We had John Carver as manager for 6 months.
Best coach in the league, wasn't he?
Yeah, very much so. And also Joe Kinnear as well is just Joe Kinnear.
Yeah.
It was just
who didn't know football as.
Sorry,
who didn't know his own football as.
Yeah, that was true actually. With the Shane Ferguson one.
Just touching on Joe Kinnear, did you know he went to go and scout Shane Ferguson?
Yeah, I knew that.
He's already been
who was already at the club.
So he was a really good player. We should sign him, and we already had. Like 4 years previously. I mean, obviously we all want our club to be successful, and it's kind of a strange one to say we want our club to come 14th or whatever. But all we just want is just for the team to try, and we'll just be happy. To be honest, that's my opinion.
No, Will, I think you're spot on with everything you said. I mean, the fans, you know, we would like Champions League in the future, but you know, you got to look at the present. And you know, we're a promoted club now, and at the end of the day, the focus is to finish the first season within 10th to 15th place. You know, if we can finish any higher than 10th, that's fantastic. You know, and obviously I have to slightly disagree with what well, more than just slightly more.
Tim Sherwood said we put out banners when we lose.
I don't agree with that either. And
So what's he on about there?
I don't know. I think he's just trying to look for a reaction as usual, and you know, it's not my fault he failed at all the clubs he's been at. You know, he's beat. You look. He's beat what? He's beat. He's got
a really good win percentage at Tottenham.
You did at Tottenham.
Yeah, but you look at Tottenham's team. I mean, look at the players that he's got. I mean, they didn't want to keep him on much longer because they know Tottenham could do better than him. You know, and that's proved it. You know, and you know, look what he's done at Swin. You know, Aston Villa. You know, done nothing at Aston Villa, done nothing at Swindon Town. You know, so I mean, they got relegated. So there we go. He needs to pick up that mess up before judging other teams. And then I just think, you know, he was wrong in what he said, and you know, we'll move on. But he loves a good reaction, did he?
Also, name me a wait, on Arsenal losing and putting banners out. Actually, no, they're winning because they won an FA Cup, but they're still protesting, aren't they?
They're still in the loft.
Exactly, it's crazy.
Yeah, hello our friends across London. Lisha, Bellamy. Things that we should get Champions League. We think as fans we should get Champions League football. And also just touching on Bellamy, which I've totally forgot about that. He said that we actually wanted Bobby Robson out as well.
Lol.
I think nobody's actually said we want Champions League football. At the end of the day, next season. Well, we want it. We're not expecting it.
Yeah.
Next season, like straight away to finish top 4. That's
Where are you expecting Newcastle to be next season?
between 10th and 15th.
Yeah.
But I see it as a project. I see it as Rafa's got what, 5?
Rafa's baby.
Yeah, but his contract's 5 years. And he can build on it season on season. So next season would be to finish around there and then just slowly progress. But nobody's actually said we're going to go in and get Champions.
Bellamy as a person, just generally.
I don't know.
We made him.
We made him. We made him, but nobody can remember anything about his career.
Well, I can't.
We made him. I mean, he should be a lot respectful towards Newcastle because you know, if it wasn't for Newcastle, he wouldn't have gone on to play for the clubs that he's played for. You know, he's played under Bobby Robson. You know, he's played in the Champions League. You know, for Newcastle United, they need to kind of respect the club, and you know, he's gone on to play for like Liverpool and Cardiff and that. But you know, at the end of the day, he wouldn't have been a big name without Newcastle, and he needs to be respectful, you know, and show a bit more respect than say bad comments towards the club, the club that made him, you know, because you wouldn't see the likes of Steven Gerrard say, "Oh, Liverpool's this, Liverpool's that," would you? You know what I mean? Because Liverpool made Steven Gerrard, you know, and you look at Thierry Henry, wouldn't start saying bad things about Arsenal, even though they've had a few failings in the past. Well, the current. But I just think at the end of the day, he should be a bit more respectful towards the club that he once played for.
Fantastic. And just literally the next day, Paul Merson said that Newcastle wouldn't keep a hold of Rafa Benitez. Okay, then, so we're going to come over. I'm going to let Will take over for this one. Will's opening sweets. What you got there, Will? Just for the listeners are listening.
Right, so I've got some. I actually recommend these. Right, mini jelly babies, Sainsbury's, 35p.
I was sponsored by them.
On
this podcast.
I hope we are now. Please do. However, also I must, because as we all know, Lee's a vegetarian. I actually made sure they were.
That's
See,
right. I've got some fruity as
who says I'm not caring? Yeah, all right.
Just tell everybody what I've got.
You've got right. Actually, I'm interested in Sharky because what the hell is this? Right, Nisha's, Alicia's twin.
Is this your Indian twin?
I just picked them up on the shop, you know.
Quality sweets, twin cherries.
And Haribo. What's it called?
Haribo Star Mix. You can't go wrong with that.
The thing is, are they? Are these suitable for vegetarians?
I'm okay. I'll stick my fruit.
Haribo Super Mix Classic. What have you got? What have you got? No. I've seen a lot. What is it? Isn't it the Chelsea one? One of the guys keeps doing like food reviews, didn't he? Like, what was his name? Rory or something? And he kept talking about his almond croissant and double shot espressos.
Yeah, yes, I know what you're talking about.
Right. So Lee has gone for something healthy, a berry fruit salad.
You do know I'm sharing these. I'm not just having them all.
Yeah. Feel free to.
It's been recorded.
And then cool green fruit salad. Can green fruit salad be cool? Can we agree? Also, there are grapes in here. That's not green. That's not green. They're black. Oh yeah, they are brewery. Sorry, but they're not green. I think we can all agree they're not green.
Yeah, I'm unhealthy living. Can I just point out I've lost £7 this week. Thank you very much. Half a stone, gone like that. Yeah.
Stick to what you know.
Stick to what I know.
Have you also been on a sunbed as well? You're incredibly tanned.
I haven't at all. People think I put orange lotion on and I don't.
Are you just naturally an olive?
I could be. What's Lisa got? Before we move on to the next step,
I don't think Lee's going to be happy with this, but I've got mini sausage rolls.
Say that bag. What you got?
Are you
Lee,
are you a vegetarian purely because you like hate meat, or is it?
No, I don't. No, I don't. If people would like to know, social media us. Right, we're going to move on as everybody starts tucking into food. We're going to let Will take over for this one. And if any sponsors are out there, please get in touch about your
Actually, this
free
is all
sweets.
Sainsbury's as well. I've just realised.
Yeah, we're all posh. Yeah, we'll shop at Sainsbury's. So, Jamal Lascelles playing for the pain barrier. Will.
So I criticised Lascelles' performances, I should say. However, to see that he's been, no, all right, Chisley. See, he's offering round because he wants to be a kind soul. No one's taking my jelly beans. What was I talking about? But to see that he's been playing through this, I think now it's come out that a few players will play through playing barriers.
Yeah.
Matt Ritchie as well. And I mean, I think they were, what was that? That's a hell of a lot of injections. That's a hell of a lot of injections to help them get through that.
I'm going to ask everybody a question then. Everybody was slating Jamal Lascelles' performances at this point. Does this justify the performance, or do you still think you could have done a lot better?
I reckon some things. I think that Leeds mistake that he did, that sort of like positional sense. But you got to remember, he's only 23 or something. You know, he's got a lot of time to grow. He's got a lot of time to improve, and I think he could be a captain for a really, really, really long time at this club. I wouldn't go on about dropping him. I think he still needs. I think he needs someone to help him along, because you know, being so young and a captain, that's a lot of weight on his shoulders. And there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of expectancy, but we know how good he is, because I think he's one of the best centre backs I've seen in a while. But I must say that my centre back lot is still Colaccini and Stephen Taylor, so it's not that much to compete with.
For me.
You see, I was still like, you know, I was still playing with trains and you know and colours and stuff by that time. I think Alicia was as well. So you know, didn't really get. I wasn't doing my in-depth analysis, marking them out of 10 as you told me in an interview once. But I think it justifies it personally, and I would still be playing Lascelles in the Premier League.
Sure, yeah, we harsh.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I was the one that was being a bit harsh towards him, saying he wasn't. You know, he's not been playing the best, and obviously until I found out the facts that he obviously was playing for the pain barrier, you know, massive respect goes out to Jamal Lascelles. And the fact that he put the club first over his, you know, over himself, and you know, obviously a lot of the medical staff would have thought, no, don't risk it. But the fact he's risked it, he just played a lot of high quality games in the Championship, you know, and a lot of them have been, you know, goal defining really. And I think, you know, he deserves a lot of credit, and he deserves all, but he deserves all the plaudits he gets really, and you know, all the comments and
double hernia.
Exactly.
Just give you a heads up. Just touch on that. He couldn't kick at all with his left foot. He was one-footed, so to speak. Well, not one-footed, but you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Not running around like peg leg.
Well, you know what? He showed his true colours. He showed, you know, what a true captain he is. Because a lot of players, you know, like the likes of Colaccini in the past, were, I'm injured, I'm not playing. You know, I don't care. As long as I'm picking up the 60 grand a week, I couldn't care less. You know, but he showed, you know, what a true man and what a true gentleman he is, and the fact that, you know, he's put the club first over himself. That says a lot, and it speaks volumes of what Rafa's trying to build at Newcastle. You know, you want players to show a lot of hard work, commitment, desire, and you know, just to give everything for the black and white stripes in Newcastle United.
Can I just say, like, sorry, we'll come to Alicia, but when you see players like, what was it, Alexis Sanchez, when a ball was thrown at him, he went down like he was shot.
Yeah.
And then you see like Jamal Lascelles playing through where he doesn't have a second leg, which is quite important when you play football. I mean, I think it's really shows how much of a model professional he really, really is, and that's a great thing to have as a captain for our club.
Do you know what's really surprised me is that Rafa's very, very cautious with injuries, and he allowed Lascelles to play for the pain barrier. If anyone's got a knock, he doesn't play them.
Well, it was him or Curtis Good, so
I
take Jamal Lascelles with one leg over Curtis Good.
Alicia?
Yeah, I think it just shows what we're having a captain now. Like, so many, like, the days of, like, Colaccini, as far as I remember. I don't think he would have gone on the way he did, and I don't... that example that he set to the rest of the players, I think it's a good example to set. And it just shows
Do you
that...
think that's important for the dressing room?
Yeah,
Look,
I
lads,
think...
I am in pain, I am playing, I am the captain, I speak.
I am the man.
I am the man, yeah, so to speak, isn't it? But you know what I mean?
Yeah, because we always ask for not
Because we've
skill based, but we ask that they try, and that really shows that he's trying and he's put 100% in.
And they come at the end of the season that Vernon, Anita and Matt Ritchie were
Yeah.
also not serious as
Yeah.
ourselves, but we're still playing through the pain barrier, weren't they?
Yeah, I think it just shows that now we have a good mentality and we have a good set of players that are gonna like stand in for the team when they're needed, and even if they're injured, they're still gonna try the best.
Because Newcastle have got a shocking history of injuries. It just goes to show you that, look, someone who is there, yes, he might not be the most talented footballer ever,
Yeah.
but someone who's there willing to put his body on the line. You've got to applaud that.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing that he's done, and
You love Lascelles, though, don't
yeah,
you?
I think
You
it's
got the hots
great.
for him. I'm not gonna say.
But yeah, I won't say on here.
Just give him a ring there.
But yeah, I think it's a good thing that he's shown there.
Fantastic. Sorry, I'm munching away. I'll come over the next one then. So Rafa was charged. I was actually quite surprised he was charged by the FA for his comments over Keith Stroud. Not Keith Stroud. It was, what do you call him? Madley's brother, who was refereeing the game where we won Preston 4-1. And he's his brother, basically, and he's a Huddersfield fan, the referee. Rafa turned around, all he said was, in the interview goes, that he was surprised at a referee who supports the opposition in Spain, this kind of thing doesn't happen. And then he was slapped with a fine. I think it wasn't much, to be fair. I think it was under $5,000 and all that, a fine and slap on the wrist, which is a little bit concerned because he could have given him a suspended 1-match ban or whatever. But just touching on your thoughts, everybody, about the charge, do you think it's a bit petty from the FA?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, in the context of it, it's a game where we have to win. It was draw. We have to win it in order to make sure that we are staying up there. And you've got a fan who is the team that is our closest rival at the time, which were Huddersfield. He's refereeing the game. A Huddersfield fan.
I have to say though, Madley was superb.
He actually was. That's the ironic thing. And I think, to be honest, because we had a big discussion about this. I remember before the game about this referee. I have to say, I think because of that, he almost had to perform well, because if anything happened contentious-wise, then he would be absolutely slated. But he gave us a penalty. He sent the player off, all rightly, I must say, not just to look on us favourably.
Great save, mate.
It was it was still a fantastic save. I have to applaud him for that, because that's a very professional thing to do. And in a season of refereeing stories, I'm finding with the Championship.
Just touch on that, it's a bit of karma for Paul Gallagher, because I'm going to show me age here, but when Paul Gallagher used to play for Blackburn, he scored a winner off a handball in St James's Park. Karma.
People, please Google when that was, because that is quite impressive. It'll reveal all.
Mid-noughties.
Yeah, I mean, managers of the Premier League or any league might as well stop doing interviews, to be honest with you. You might as well not have an opinion, because if you have an opinion, if you see anything bad about them, of any referee or just the FA in general, you're going to get fined, so you might as well just stop.
Why do you think Jose Mourinho just went through a whole interview going, I have nothing to say?
Yeah, like I said, you know what? It's just going back onto the referee. I mean, the referee had a fantastic game, and obviously, all the criticism being a Huddersfield fan and all that kind of stuff. But I think Rafa had a right to say what he had to say. I mean, at the end of the day, if being a football manager, it's like putting a Sunderland referee, or someone from Sunderland refereeing a Newcastle game. Do you know what I mean? You'd think, oh, why? Like, why can't you get someone from like down London or like down Yorkshire?
Like Clattenburg and who's the other referee? There's Clattenburg and there's another Premier League referee who are Newcastle fans. Martin Oliver. Is it Oliver?
Michael Oliver.
Michael Oliver. There you go. Both of them are Toon fans. So if they refereed a Sunderland game, or if Newcastle were fighting relegation, you wouldn't expect Oliver to be in charge of Watford next season if it's down to the last game. You know what I mean? I
just think it was very petty by the FA to even fine Rafa Benitez, because I think at the end of the day, right? I mean, managers have they have a duty to give an interview, to say something to the media.
The FA, they need to improve the game, not just say everyone who's actually giving a bit of constructive criticism, because that's a fair comment to say. I'm not being biased, but there's a lot of times where managers, they've just had to sort of say nothing in press conferences, because if they say anything, it's just going to be hit and fine, when something actually went against them, which shouldn't have done. I remember there's one with Pep Guardiola this season where I think a player was sent off. One of his players, I think it was Fernandinho. I think it was Burnley. If I remember that, I'm quite impressed with myself. And all he could say is, "I've just nothing to say. I don't want to talk about it," because if he says anything, then he's going to get fined.
And as well, obviously, touching back onto the referees, I mean, if he's going to be upset and stuff, why can't the referees at the end of the games not give an interview like the managers and the players have to? Because at the end of the day, they're refereeing the game, and they should indicate why they're given such a decision. I think they should bring that in maybe next season or in the future.
I would hook them up with a mic.
Because at the end of the day, the referees will get paid,
Like
good money as well. And
Has happened before.
these are top officials, and they should be able to clarify what's going on. Because if a manager was to do something on the technical area and be like, say, taken to the stands because he said such a thing to the fourth official, why can't they not come out in an interview and say what they believe? Because at the end of the day, managers or players have right to express their own opinions because that's their job. As part of speaking to the media, that's their job to give questions.
It's petty though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's the bottom line.
Lisha? Is
yeah.
it petty?
Yeah, I think it's really petty because at the end of the day, they're not saying like anything personal about them. They're criticising the work, and you've got pundits that criticise the managers and the players, but that's their job. They don't get fined for that. And I just think it's, again, petty from the FA, and I don't understand why they've done it, to be honest.
They just need the money.
Yeah.
Probably. For the Christmas do.
Yeah.
Right, so coming to the... we're almost at the end of the podcast. We're probably got about 20 minutes left. We're over an hour and 5 minutes. So we've got 4 more subjects. Well, 5 actually, really. We're going to talk about Barnsley, the game itself first. And then we'll talk about, obviously, the after effects, like the celebrations, and did Brighton bottle it, and so on and so on. So I'll begin with the game. I'll try and remember it again. We're doing the fan cams, weren't we, Will? And a lot of people couldn't actually remember the game. Again, I think for me, Jose Perez, this was his best performance all season. He was just a man possessed. I don't know if Barcelona, our chief scouts, were watching him, because he's been linked to Barcelona in the past, and this was just, it was just a worldly performance. And where's Jose Perez been? We thought this would be his season. Chancellor Bemba then made it 2-0. He was a class defender. And then, obviously, Dwight Gale come off the bench back from injury and got the winner 3-0. Pretty comprehensive. Once that second goal went in, it was like, ole, ole, when everybody was passing and everything. Newcastle won the game.
Newcastle related to ole, wow.
At our end, we would just make you taken every time Newcastle passing the ball. We'd go, ole, ole, and all of that. Pretty comfortable performance, right, everybody. So try and stick the game first, and we'll talk about the celebrations afterwards. Barnsley?
Comfortable game, pressure was off us, because we just knew all we had to do was win, to be honest, and that was just it, to be honest. It's like, also as the second place team, it was just like, we really don't have anything to lose by this. Worst case scenario, we come second, which is probably expected to do. All we could do was win the game. Fairly comfortable, I thought, when I try and look back on the game. We were all a bit distracted. It's fair to say. I spent more time looking at my phone than I did looking at the pitch, and I think most people did as well. Perez was unbelievable in that game, and in a season where the problem position for me has been number 10, especially with Dummett, Perez to sort of show that it was like almost a bit of a relief, frankly, that finally he was sort of showing his quality, because I think he's probably our best technical footballer when I'm talking about technique. But he just sometimes, lacks a bit of conviction, I think. Yeah. That's my opinion. You could say, because like Richie, just sort of runs his feet off. Perez, at the ball at his feet, he does absolutely wonderful things. And that goal, he flicked it behind. If that was scored by Messi or Suarez, we would still be hearing about it now.
Remember his goal against West Brom?
Exactly. It was virtually identical. Virtually identical. If that was, but the thing is, if that was Sanchez, if that was Ozil, if that was Aguero, we'd still be hearing about this thing.
I'll be all in it. Obviously going into the game, Newcastle had nothing to lose. Second place, obviously Brighton, they obviously had the points extra than us. So obviously going into the game, Barnsley were, they put, well, I wouldn't say they put them under pressure, but they were defending really well, trying to stop where, they were creating opportunities, but they weren't really quite hitting the target or making the keeper work. But Newcastle just grew into the game, and
they missed Adam Armstrong.
Yeah, obviously Adam Armstrong, his loan had finished now.
I didn't wake up. It was a 12 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, it was an early game, wasn't it? I just remember, like I say, going into the game, Newcastle done what they had to do. They were 2 up, and then obviously we found out obviously that Brighton Brighton obviously had scored. You know, but obviously Aston Villa went out with 10 men, and that was controversial.
We'll come on to that.
And obviously, like I say, Newcastle were just doing what they had to do. We obviously got the third goal, and then obviously when we scored, obviously Aston Villa had scored. It was like 2 double celebrations, wasn't it, in the game? And it was just unreal after that, wasn't it? Just what went on after that.
Alicia?
I think sticking to the game, I think it was very comfortable performance. I think Perez is actually quite underrated by a lot of people. I think he gets slated a lot. But
is that because of the formation or because of him?
Possibly the formation, because if you look at the other midfielders that we have, he can get outshone at times by the likes of Richie and Sharvey. But I think the past 2 games, I think he showed his quality, and I think he is very underrated. But it was a very comfortable performance, 3-0 win, and obviously Brighton messing up in the last few minutes of their game to hand us the trophy.
Cheers, Brian.
Brilliant. We'll speak about the celebrations then. I'm sure everyone's got loads to say, their little stories and everything. So I was obviously I got the matches with Ryder, who's my mate, and communications with the I've said this loads of times. The mobiles were down. Everybody was on the phones, and everybody couldn't get on the internet, the browser, and it was just frustrating because one person, and there was the fake news going around in the other end of the Gallagher. Everyone was celebrating, and it was like, why they're celebrating? We've seen nothing. And obviously Brighton had scored. They were like, oh well, then okay, then we'll just settle for second place. So obviously we were winning our game, and then Dwight Gale does the up-down celebration, going up, going down, going up, all of that. That was brilliant. And then literally 30 seconds later, another row come round, and everyone had the score, and everyone was trying to check, and that's my story anyways. Everyone was trying to check, and then we still couldn't check, even though the Gallagher was celebrating. So I'm recording, obviously part of the match day experience, the fan celebrating. Still don't know in my own mind whether Villa had scored, and obviously we found out we did, and everyone's like, come on, blow the whistle. When they were just hanging on, weren't we, for about an extra 2 minutes at the end, waiting on Villa. And then, as we've seen, the players went nuts, the fans went nuts, everybody was singing. The trophy celebration, there's a bit of doubt where the trophy was. Was it in the helicopter? Was it
Was it my back on?
Was it in your back garden? Was it in Leeds? Because a lot of rumours were it's midweight in Leeds, halfway up. Obviously there was a replica, we knew that now, but what a day. And then even after the fan cams, I mean, everyone was just celebrating. We got everybody singing, and we were singing. Everyone was happy. It was just Brighton that literally just bottled it. 7 points clear, and literally handed us the title. What was your day like on that day?
Champion! Yeah, I think I screamed into the mic. Slightly broke my voice. It's all a bit of a blur, really, because I remember when that fake news thing you were talking about, and we were all kind of celebrating, checking the phones, like, no, they haven't scored, and we were like, for God's sake. Then they scored down to 10 men, and we thought, yeah. And then I remember the Gale one. It was literally everyone just sort of just stood and clapped, just like, yeah. Third.
Yeah, we'll finish.
And then I just sort of see the Leeds end up in the stand. They're all just starting to just going absolutely mental, and we're thinking you must have. And then everybody is just on the phones trying to refresh, and then like some people get it through, and then it was just a waiting game, just a complete waiting game. It was a very good way to win it. It was a very dramatic way to win it. I'm very glad we did, because I think a lot of people that we've talked about, they're like, oh, I'm not bothered about winning the championship, I really don't care about it. But I think everyone was really, really happy to win it. I mean, if that's what we did for the championship, I mean, imagine what would happen if we actually won a trophy, if we actually won a proper trophy.
That place will get nuts.
Yeah, I think a pitch invasion probably would have happened if it was, like Premier League or whatever. Yeah, I absolutely loved the day. It was the first time, probably the only time, I'll see a trophy lifted at St James's Park.
Keep the faith.
I said at St James's Park, I did not say Wembley. I'm counting it with that. Yeah, absolutely mental day, absolutely loved it. I just couldn't. I almost still can't believe it. I almost still can't believe it happened like that, because it couldn't have happened in a more dramatic way, especially the fact it was Aston Villa, who Alicia definitely hates. Alicia hates Aston Villa. Oh, didn't you say you hate Aston? Oh, I'm thinking of James Fernie, aren't I?
Yeah, you could say sorry.
I apologise. Yeah, but you know what I mean by.
That's what he said.
You know what? But do you know what I mean? As in, that was ironic about this rivalry.
ironic,
This
yeah.
rivalry we have Aston Villa.
Yeah, because there's so many stories going on, weren't there? Shorty just doesn't want to speak about the game.
No, honestly, do you know, it was like one of the best games I've ever been to, and that tops off even the Preston one when we got promoted. Like, it was unreal, like how there was so many twists and turns, and I expected that when we played Barnsley in the last game of the season, you know, because we all knew that obviously Brighton had the extra point, and it was just like there's so much nail biting. Obviously, we'd done our job, you know, we were obviously Brighton, you know, they were winning. It was just so much nail biting.
Brighton and David Stockdale bottled it.
Yeah, pretty much. I remember looking back at it, and
That one.
when Aston Villa took the shot, it was like, how's he not saved it? You know what I mean? But he's doing his best, wasn't he? Doing the best to give her the title, which he did. But like I say, it was a fantastic game, a fantastic atmosphere. It's a game I'll never forget as a fan, and hopefully it's, you know, winning the championship. It's many trophies to come under Rafa Benitez, and I think that's, you know, the first of many hopefully that we're going to get. Looking into the future, but it was just unreal, man. That, you know, how everybody just came together, you know, the whole community, and, you know, the fact that the players, you know, they were celebrating with the fans as fans are celebrating with the players, and Rafa was just acknowledging, you know, to all the support, you know, how much we give to him all season, and I just think, like I say, imagine what it would be like if we won, like, maybe like an EFL Cup or a FA Cup or a Premier League. Unreal, but like I say, it'll be a game you know, I'll always live long in the memory, and hopefully, like I say, many more days like that to come.
Yeah, I think it was a great day. Just to go into the game, and like, I think I was more nervous for that than I was the Preston game, because we still had chances to get promoted. But that one, it was like, yeah, if Brighton messes up, we can win it. And I was getting like texts on my phone like, oh, Villa scored, and I was like, yeah.
Remember on the fan cams? I'm shaking. I can't believe it.
I genuinely felt sick.
That was it.
The wild bloody hugging me, weren't they?
And it was. I didn't believe it until it said on the screen. I didn't believe anybody, but yeah, it was a crazy day. Like, there was people, because I sit quite close to the front. There was people like coming down from other stands to come and like stand where we were to see like the trophy and that. But it was a mad day. It was great.
It was fantastic. You know what I'm looking forward to is, you know, the fans films. The guys who are doing, you know, what they're called again, because they follow us on Twitter and they're gonna kill us if they listen to this. They're doing the documentary on Newcastle this season. Yeah. So I cannot wait for that to come back, because that is literally Roy the Rover stuff. So we won, the celebrations, everybody's happy, and then the season's ended. So we've still got a couple more to talk about, 3 more.
Season ended and we're out of a job.
Me and Sharky went to a few under 23 games. Will joined when the final, where we played. Just going to touch on this dead quickly. We lost the final to West Ham. Bit of a shame that the lads didn't go up and play bigger sides, because I think youth development, we want to see some local lads come through. And looking at that under 23s, it's difficult to say who's going to come through, because a lot of them are out on loan at the moment. Personally, I think there's only one name for me, that's Dan Barlaser, who's got a chance of being loaned out. His family's Turkish, but he's not. But Will, you at the final with us? Yeah. What do you make of that? What do you make of the lads? Any new names?
It was a disappointing game. I mean, there were like some guys who stood out. I think Barlaser was trying to do anything and everything.
You like Victor Fernandez, didn't you?
I liked him. I really did like him, because he just came on, he just ran at people.
I said to you when he comes on the bench, watch this lad.
Yeah, I was like, I felt like a scout at that game. It was great. I mean,
big shout out to him who follows us.
Yeah, I mean, the Premier League 2 is called Second Division.
Yeah.
The promotion relegation thing is to sort of like aid, you know, competition, give a bit more of a competitive edge. I think Herdman looked all right. To be fair, they looked fairly average, I'd say. But I don't know. I think we've got, you know, we're definitely not going to be short of players coming through, because you know, lots of kids from the north. I think the North has actually produced the most English footballers.
We'll cover that in the second podcast, so stay tuned.
Yeah, so I think youth development wise, well, Rafa's not big on youth development anyway, is he?
Well, he wants the whole restructure, so I would say he is.
Yeah. Okay. And we also have like lots of players out on loan and injured, and there's I don't think we saw a full strength team that night.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing for the lads. Obviously, they were bigging up the game. You know, hopefully we don't mess it up, and just, I don't know. I wouldn't say West Ham were brilliant, but that's Premier League 2 for you. I mean, you know, the lads were unlucky. On any other given day, they might have won that, but you know, there's always next year, and you know, Peter Beardsley be looking at that team thinking,
you're seeing that there's going to be a lot of new fresh faces coming in that under 23 side, which makes you wonder, when the release list comes out in Newcastle, how many of them under 23s are going to be on that. I think it'll be quite a big chunk.
I agree. I agree. But yeah, like I say, well done to West Ham. You've always got to give them credit. But it is what it is.
Alicia, anything to catch up on that?
Well, I wasn't there, so I can't actually say that much on the game. But there is quite a talk of quite a few ones like Barnsley who are gonna he's been linked with top sides like Besiktas, I think, the other day.
Yeah. He was in my brother's class at school. Yeah.
So I think when you see teams, yes, they're not the top teams, but they're still a European team. I think he's a player that I've got to try and hold on to. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see who will be there and who might come through into the first, or at least the reserves.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to hand over to you for permanent signing with Chris Natsu.
So this one was, personally, I wanted this one to happen, mainly because if we look at the wings we've currently got, which I would say, not counting under 23s, I mean, the ones that have played, Richie, Gouffran and Aarons. So we wanted Townsend in January.
What about Sammy? He's on the pitch.
Sammy scored.
No, I'm joking.
I really debate if he's a footballer, to be honest.
You got your picture taken with him? I've seen it.
I do. I was very small. It was like 4 years ago. I was about Alicia's height. I was definitely taller than Lee at the time. What was it? But we needed a winger in January and we didn't get one anyway. So to let go of Atsu and only have two, and Aarons we've talked about potentially going out on loan as well anyway, it's kind of, I think it would have been stupid for £6 million, which at the minute is frankly peanuts.
Absolute bargain, really,
for a player. And I know he needs to develop a bit more. I think he needs to be a bit better in the final third, but his pace, he's direct, he does deliver at times. We saw his form picked up towards the end of the season. The fantastic free kick against Cardiff. Even as a squad player, I think it's a very, very, very good signing. But we definitely do need more wingers because Gouffran, is probably likely to leave, and that leaves us with, if you want to say Aarons is, because I would say probably the best thing for Aarons would be for him to go out on loan and get a full season of Championship of football anyway, and I don't think we can give him exactly as well.
The thing with Gouffran is as well, he done everything in the season at the wrong time. So he come good at the start of the season when everybody's getting looked at, but then obviously towards the end of the season when he want to earn contracts and stuff, he didn't do too well. You know what I mean? So it was kind of the opposite. Yeah. He done good at the start of the season, but towards the end of the season he went back to his usual self.
I found out from a Chronicle article that this whole season we were trying to find somewhere for Gouffran to go, but no one was paying his wages.
I kind of feel sorry for him, but I think he'll probably end up being sold in the summer. But like I say, I just with the I forgot what I was talking about now. Atsu, yes, sorry, but Atsu, yes. It's an absolute bog, £6.2 million. Obviously, he's got a lot of learning under Rafa, but I think Rafa will obviously strengthen in that position. He might not be a first team, in the first teamer in the Premier League next season. But I do believe he's got, talent. He's got loads of quality, and he can get better. And like you were saying, Will,
he's 25. He's still relatively...
Yeah, he's not quite at his peak yet, but you'll learn and you'll get there. And I think with you look at Chelsea as a football club as well. They've got a lot of players, and even 6.2 million, they're not going to say no to that really when you think they've got a lot of players out on loan. And obviously, bear in mind they would have paid over the odds for him when he was playing overseas because he's played for the likes of Bournemouth, Everton, and it hasn't quite worked out for him. But I think he can.
I agree. I've talked to some people who said he didn't do anything at either of those clubs. However, he didn't really get his chance, and I think we've seen, especially with players like Vardy and Mahrez for Leicester, if you have pace in the team, it does cause you problems one way or another.
Yeah, he needs to settle down, and hopefully with Rafa, he's found the club that he can settle down at and work hard.
Lisha?
I think 6 million to be honest, to sign a player from a Premier League team is quite a steal, to be honest. But I don't think he'll start in the starting 11. I think it
depends who else we get in.
Yeah, depending on who else. Hopefully we'll sign some more, but I'd probably see him being an option of the last kind of half an hour, 20 minutes of a game, bring him on for added pace to try and kill a game off or go and try and get something from a game. But for 6 million I think it's a great buy.
I'm undecided on it. I've said this before, haven't I? pros.
surprised you said that. I thought you'd like Atsu.
No, I do. I think he's.
Mohawk user.
I think he's. I think he's better than Gouffran. If he asked me the question, would you have Atsu or Gouffran starting? I would have Atsu probably most of the time.
He's better than what we've got. I would say.
Question is he better than Rolanda Aarons? I think he's on the same level. In my opinion, I think he's the similar kind of level because when Aarons is fit, he's pretty decent. I think he's on the same level. Atsu's very direct. Needs to work on getting back covering, helping Paul Dummett out, and he will need to do that next season because I think Paul Dummett will be left back first choice, and his final deliveries crossing needs to improve. Yes, he's direct. I think, Alicia, what you've said is coming off the bench as an option for the last 15-20 minutes, counter-attack and stretching the game. I'd rather have Atsu than Gouffran every single day of the week. It's a good price, don't get me wrong. My only concern is he's never made it in the Premier League. When he went to Bournemouth, the newly promoted side, couldn't even get a game for them, one game. And he went to Everton and got a handful of games and had a couple of spells in Europe, done well. I think it was Malaga, wasn't it? And I'm undecided. I'm not against it, but I'm undecided. He's got to prove me wrong. That's the way I look at it. Moving on, well, final subject. We're going to be quickly talking about the Paul Dummett rejected these recent Wales call-up, which was only a day or two ago. I'll hand over to you.
So Lee introduced that one very, very well. I think a reason was his name, Chris Coleman, the manager, sort of heavily against it. I think some people thought this meant he retired from international football. I think Dummett started the most games out of any Newcastle player last season, incredibly, because
Start the season, you were slating him.
I was slating him, and I was still slating because he's not a left back. He's a centre back playing left back. The only reason he plays left back is because he is left footed. Because I've never seen a poorer crosser of the ball in my lifetime than Paul Dummett.
Do you think he's improved this season though?
Yes, I would say so, but he's still. I understand why he's being used because if you think of the fullbacks, you got Dummett and Yedlin. Yedlin is probably more a winger than a fullback.
It's what you need in the Premier League.
Exactly.
Unless Wales have found the next male.
Yeah.
In that position.
But it's so you got Yedlin attacking, then Dummett will stay back and sort of cover defensively. He kind of covers you in that respect. But I don't know. I definitely wouldn't sell him. I think he's a fairly decent player and he's a very good option. And also, if you think since Dummett's coming to the team, he's really been first choice left back for 3-4 years now. To be fair, he hasn't had that much competition. Yeah, I would say. I think if Lazard goes, I think we'll get in another wing back, and I think Dummett could be used kind of like as a left centre back, possibly if we play 3 at the back, which I think might be used in the Premier League. I think he's decent. I think in relation to Wales, sorry, I went off topic.
Yeah.
I think it was in Neil. He's knackered. He's played all these games. Neil Tayer's ahead of him really anyway.
Ben Davis.
Exactly. It's what's the point in going all the way out there?
Damaged his chances for Wales going forward.
Not really. I mean, who do they really have? Because if he starts in the Premier League,
he's not going to get in the England team. I'll put that straight out.
He still technically play for England.
Because actually,
but I don't think he'll get in the
Didn't play
England
any
team.
qualifiers for Wales.
I think there's too many players in the England team ahead of him.
Yeah,
and,
I think with Wales, I think he definitely still has a chance of getting in there, and if he proves himself, then he definitely can.
But England, I was just saying, I was quite shocked actually when I heard it. Being a local lad as well, but obviously it's going to benefit Newcastle. Obviously not playing for Wales, he's going to have more games. He's going to have more recovery time as well. So obviously when Newcastle aren't playing in the internationals come about, he's going to have more recovery time to play for the next game. But I don't know. I mean, maybe he just wants a rest. Maybe he wants to try and get in the England team, which I don't think will happen.
If he plays 46 games or so over a season, you're going to be tired. And it's 52 weeks. You can almost. He always only has a few weeks off. I think it's fair enough.
Yeah, like I say, just my opinion is I don't think Paul Dummett will get in the England team, and if that's what he wants, I think there's so many players ahead of him in the England team. But like I say, Paul Dummett can only make that decision, for his future and going forward playing for Newcastle, and Paul Dummett knows best.
Yeah, I think he's done it more for his Newcastle future than anything. Again, going back to that mentality that's been instilled, he's kind of put that at the forefront and he's focusing on that and focusing on going into next season. But I don't think he'll get in the England side either, as Shotty was saying. I just think the defence in the England side is just too high a quality.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just I think he's just knackered. I think that's all it's down to, and probably we might not be in the next few Wales squads, but you know that only benefits us. Paul Dummett's going to be probably thinking Rafa's looking maybe another left back perhaps as well. So we're coming towards the end of the podcast. We'll just do a few outros in a second. So it's been sunny, it's been cloudy. People are shivering now. People have got the jackets on. I'm sat here in a t-shirt and shorts still.
On a pink Tenerife towel.
On a pink Tenerife towel, which is in the Benz actually. We've brought you some food. You found out I'm a vegetarian, so yeah. And all in all, we've had a good chat about Newcastle from the Wigan game onwards. We're going to do the outros.
So I've been Will, Newcastle Fans TV. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably already know where to find us. But please, subscribe, like us, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. Check out our website as well.
I've been Sharky on Newcastle United One Club One City on YouTube. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
I've been Alicia. I do YouTube videos on Alicia FC, so go and subscribe over there, and you'll also see us on fan
How do you
camps.
spell Alicia?
Elisha, for people that get confused.
Yeah, because you can spell that a couple of times. So that's been the podcast. There will be another one in the next few days where we'll be discussing the squad and the same amount of people. We're actually just going to jump straight onto that one, but that'll be out in the next few days. And obviously you can find us on iTunes, you can find us on SoundCloud, Podomatic, and of course the video which will be on YouTube. See you later. Thanks. Bye bye.